Macmillan Audio presents The Undesired by Yrsa Sigurdardottir. Read for you by Nick Underwood and Karen Cass.
The End. Odinn was jolted awake by a cough. How long had he been asleep? Perhaps he'd only nodded off for a moment. He chuckled to himself and was puzzled by how breathless he sounded, though he didn't feel it. Sensing the drowsiness returning, he struggled against it. Where was he again? An attempt to smile resulted in such a pathetic twitch of his lips that another laugh escaped him. Then there was silence. But no. He could hear the throbbing of an engine. The noise lulled him, and his eyelids drooped again. He heard more coughing and half opened his eyes, looking round with some effort. He was still in the driver's seat. Beside him sat his daughter, Rune, head slumped forward, black hair hanging down and masking her delicate features. He started laughing as if it were the funniest thing he had ever seen. Something was wrong. Was he drunk? No, that wasn't it. He was happy. Rune coughed again, her head jerking up each time. Her fine hair swung gently to and fro as if in a breeze, and Odinn almost burst out laughing again. Yet beneath his weird elation, he was aware that there was nothing funny about any of this. They were in the car, inside a garage. Odinn's chin had sunk onto his chest. Infinitely slowly he raised his head, as if it were made of glass. Whose garage was it? He ought to know, but couldn't remember. What are we doing here? Why do I feel so strange? He could sense the answers echoing at the back of his mind, but they kept eluding him. It frustrated him because he knew they were desperately important. Odinn breathed feebly through his nose. When he blinked, his vision cleared for a moment, but with each blink it felt as if his eyes were closing for the last time. Overwhelmed now with hilarity, he managed a wide grin. He felt amazing. By a great effort of will, he took hold of his daughter's little hand, which was quite limp. His inexplicable mirth died down, and he squeezed her damp palm. Rune didn't stir, just hung there in her seatbelt. A ray of rational thought pierced his haze of contentment. Something was very wrong. Why were they sitting in the car in this familiar-looking garage? He ought to know, and made another effort to remember how they'd ended up here. But just as the clouds in his head seemed to be parting, the thought evaporated. Laura, Laura, Laura. His ex-wife, Rune's mother. How did she come into this? She was long dead. He chuckled again. Now it was his turn to cough until his chest ached. When he recovered, he realized how odd the air tasted. Sour, poisonous. Still smiling, he groped for the button to turn up the blower to full blast, but his arm slumped heavily onto the gear stick. It should have hurt, but the pain was so dull he didn't even wince. It was as if he were wearing a thickly padded ski suit. Glancing down, he saw that he was dressed in his ordinary clothes. Not his parka, though. That was odd. Wasn't it freezing outside? It was winter, wasn't it? Odinn was unsure. Not that it mattered. Something, or someone, was telling him everything was going to be all right. Perhaps it was Laura.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?